Why do we need to understand linking words? To answer this question, imagine a world where conversations and writings are just a series of disjointed sentences, lacking in flow and cohesion. It would be quite a mess, right? Linking words, my friends, are the magical threads that weave our thoughts into a seamless fabric of communication. They provide context, clarify transitions, and express relationships between concepts. So let's dive into the world of linking words, specifically those that express opposition, limitation, and contradiction. Starting with, although this may be true, it's used to acknowledge a fact or an argument, but also to introduce a contrasting point. For instance, although this may be true, the evidence supporting the contrary is overwhelming. At the same time, is used to introduce a fact or a situation that must be considered in addition to what has been mentioned. An example would be, she loves playing tennis. At the same time, she always makes time for her studies. Next, we have in spite of and despite, which are interchangeable and used to express a fact that is unexpectedly or surprisingly not affected by another. For example, in spite of the rain, the parade continued. Even so is used to introduce a surprising fact or something in contrast to what was before. He didn't study for the exam, even so he passed. Though, although, and even though are used to introduce a contrasting statement, like although he was tired, he decided to keep working. Albeit is a more formal word for although. An example would be, she accepted the job, albeit with some reservations. Be that as it may, is used to acknowledge a fact, but to also indicate that it is not going to affect the situation. For instance, the car is quite old. Be that as it may, it's very reliable. Regardless indicates that the fact mentioned does not affect the situation. For example, she continued to work regardless of her illness. Notwithstanding, another word for despite, can be used like this. Notwithstanding their differences, they were good friends. Above all is used to emphasize that a particular thing is more important than others. He values honesty above all. After all is used to highlight that despite earlier problems or doubts, the situation remains. They decided to buy the house after all. In reality, is used to stress that the situation is different from what has been said. He said he didn't mind losing, but in reality, he was very upset. Besides, is used to add information. She loves reading. Besides, she also enjoys painting. Instead, is used to show that one thing is done or used in place of another. He didn't want coffee and asked for tea instead. Lastly, conversely, is used to introduce a statement or fact that reverses one that has just been made or referred. Some find the film boring. Conversely, others think it's incredibly exciting. So, to wrap it up, the linking words we've covered today are, although this may be true, at the same time, in spite of, despite, even so, though, although, even though, albeit, be that as it may, regardless, notwithstanding, above all, after all, in reality, besides, instead, and conversely. Remember, mastering these linking words will significantly improve your communication skills, both written and spoken. So, keep practicing.